So here we have the aluminum for the project. It's a 5/8 inch diameter 6061 aircraft aluminum, 0.049 wall thickness. And this is what they're going to sleeve the inside of it in small sections where it's going to be crushed as 1/2 inch tubing. It's nice like light tubing. I've used it to make a kayak before and do some other projects. I really like this kind of tubing. I'm just going to cut it with this conduit cutter. Super easy, fast to cut, gives you a nice clean edge. Cuts incredibly fast. It's not going to take too long to measure and cut these out, so let's get going. There's going to be 28 total crushed areas and 14 sections, 14 tube sections for the frame. So yeah, we'll go ahead and measure these out and start cutting them. So we got the sleeve section. It's going to go with a 85 millimeter inside. So I decided to go against using the vise and hammering method because I was getting some embrittling on the tubes and I'm worried about like fatiguing the aluminum or embrittling it too much at the joint. So I went down to Harbor Freight and picked up this 12-ton hydraulic press, and we're going to see if this is going to crush the tubes better. So let's put this thing together. Alright, so here we have the Springer fork, which is a cheap $60 fork off of eBay. And then I have a chromoly steel Paragon Machine Works head tube, and then a BMX quill stem to set up this fork. Interesting thing about this fork is that it is a 1-inch steer tube, threaded steer tube, and that the Paragon Machine Works is a 44 millimeter, can be threadless headset. So kind of an interesting thing that I did, which I wouldn't recommend at home, don't do it, but we'll see how it works, is I put a bearing within a bearing. So there's a threadless bearing, and then for 44 millimeter, and then a 1-inch headset bearing in that, so they're stacked. But it seems to turn okay. Again, I wouldn't recommend it because I don't know how it's going to work yet, but I'll break that down so you can see it. Another interesting thing with this fork is that it has a closed loop dropout. So one nice thing about the hub motor that I have is that it has the wire doesn't exit out of the end of the axle, but it exits from the side. So the wire motor is going to be able to exit on the inside here, and I'll be able to put this over, if it's the right 12 millimeter dropout with a 10 millimeter flat, I'll be able to put this over the hub motor axle and then have the wire exit on the inside, so I don't have to cut this open, hopefully. One thing I do have to figure out is how to do a torque washer on this part here or on this side, and then just make sure that my brake caliper ISO mount is going to line up okay with the 160 millimeter disc brake, which I have to double check that dimension. But I will break this headset down for you, and we'll take a look at how that bearing is stacked, and then we will get this bracket welded on here.
Introspective, thoughts that are collected and respected, not neglected. Connected to vibrations of the sounds that we create. We offer room for food for thought, you read it, clean your plate. Never hesitate, always set it straight. Cause the music be the movement, we come in heavyweight.
Alright YouTube, that's the end of part 2 of the 20-minute motorcycle series. We will see you next time for painting, test riding, breaking down the motorcycle. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.